Welcome to the Weather Guru podcast for October 27, 2025. Thank you for joining me. Hit that subscribe button on the way in, the like button. We're talking about Major Hurricane Melissa, Category 5 here on a beeline path for the western side of Jamaica here. We're going to be talking about everything from the current statistics of the storm to where the impacts could be felt the most. And we're going to be talking about also the structural integrity of the storm as we see right now. Now, as you can see in the last frames of the infrared frames here, as we go towards sunset here with the storm, the eye is very well defined and possibly undergo the eye wall replacement cycle, but that was quickly, not a full eye wall replacement cycle, but it undergoed a structural changes with the eye. The eye appears a little bit more larger than it was earlier in the day. It was 11 nautical miles across in the beginning of the day, and now as we head to the end of the day, it appears a little bit bigger and circular ring with the stadium effect. You can see all the way down to the ocean floor. Sign of an intensifying hurricane. It may intensify a little bit more heading into tonight's 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. advisory. Winds now at 175 miles an hour sustained with higher gusts approaching 195, close to 195 miles an hour gusts. So, the hurricane force winds extend out 30 miles from the center. Tropical storm force winds extend over 150 miles from the center. Jamaica's currently experiencing, some parts of the island are experiencing tropical storm force winds right now, and some intermittent rain showers off and on. The further east you are, the intermittent rain showers kind of die off. As you can see, the green convection here, most of the deep red convection is just now below. But the storm right now continues to make its track towards the Jamaica coastline. Kingston is spared from this. Like I said, Kingston won't get the worst of the storm here, as it's far enough west. The storm is far enough west where you will get tropical storm force winds through the night, hurricane force winds later on tonight, possibly around 3 a.m., 2, 3, 4 a.m., something like that tonight, for hurricane force gusts, I should say, rather. Now, it's moving northwest at 3 miles an hour, still moving slowly, okay? And because it's moving slowly, this is going to continue that motion slowly, and that the rain threat is going to be huge with this system. You're looking at up to 20 inches of rain, regardless, island-wide almost, of 10 to 20 inches of rain island-wide. And then, of course, directly east, places like Mandeville, you're going to have a heavy total, and then the mountains, the Blue Mountains, are going to have a heavy total as the orographic lifting provides that more showers there. So that's what we have going on here. All the models are in agreement now that it's going to come toward the western tip, make landfall somewhere along the western tip of Jamaica, from Mandeville west, from from some point east or west of there. So from Mandeville, there's places like that. The Black River south of there on the south coast is going to make landfall somewhere between there, and then also that includes later on in the forecast periods, Montego Bay is going to be on the northwest side, and Ocho Rios and all that. So you can see it's going to make landfall there, and then to the west of it for Jamaica will be from about 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. Tuesday morning. After that, the system will transverse over back into the Caribbean and set its eye on eastern Cuba, Guantanamo Bay or some part over there. And it will be, it'll make landfall tonight, possibly, tomorrow, late tonight into tomorrow morning, possibly as it could hold strength to a Category 5, or it could go through an eye wall replacement cycle. It's yet to be seen. We have 3 more advisories. We have an 8 p.m. advisory, which is expected to show, and then 11 p.m. advisory is going to be the big one to see what happens. And then if it doesn't change by 11 p.m., that means the next advisory at 5 a.m. would show basically to be almost there, making its landfall, should be making its approach into western Jamaica. That's what we have going on here. So now, the key messages, like I said, please, there's going to be a catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding. Landslides, mudslides are not out of the question. It's going to be noisy. Heavy rain and winds are going to be noisy, specifically after midnight in Jamaica. And this could even include, like I said, Kingston and areas up to the north, St. Anne's, St. Catharines, Portmore. Everybody's included in that because of the system is going to expand. If it does expand, meaning the wind field expands. If it does weaken, the wind field is going to expand here, okay? And that means that most of Jamaica will be getting hurricane force winds or hurricane conditions, right? Sometime between midnight and 5 a.m., okay? By 9 a.m., getting close to lunchtime on Tuesday, the worst of it will pass to the north, but it'll still be impacting the northern communities. Like I said, Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, you'll still be getting that backside there. Winds coming out of southwest, strong, gusting, hurricane force, and along with that intermittent kind of stingy rain type of stuff going on, okay? And still debris, a lot of debris could be flying around. Once again, like I said, the biggest threat as we approach the nighttime hours and into the daylight, early to daylight tomorrow, is going to be heavy rain, winds, and flooding, street flooding, river flooding, Do not attempt to cross these river bridges because of the flooding that could be coming in with Melissa. So Melissa, once again, for those that's joining us, it's Category 5, 175 mile an hour winds, 195 mile an hour sustained gust. And that's confined. Once again, those winds are confined to about 30 miles from the center of the hurricane. So that's what the most strongest, when we say 175 mile an hour max winds, not the whole storm, but it's those 30-mile corridor, whoever is going to get that 30-mile corridor of strong winds. And that's why we're very concerned for those folks west near Mandeville and west and north of Mandeville. That's where we're concerned at, inland. As far as getting the worst of the system with those 150, 160, 170 mile an hour gust sustained winds, possibly sometime after midnight, from like, let's say 4 a.m. to about 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. That could be the time frame that it makes landfall. But right now it's moving northwest at 3 miles an hour. So once again, I want to show you here what we have here. It's currently located about 140 miles or 225 kilometers southwest of Kingston, Jamaica. So because it's only moving at 3 miles an hour, it's going to take much of tonight to get into making a landfall, if it makes a landfall. Now, there's two possibilities here that a lot of people are saying that it could possibly happen here, and I'm going to show you that just a minute here. I just want to show you the how far the hurricane winds extend out. Okay, hurricane force winds extend out upwards of 30 miles or 45 kilometers from the center. So that means that the winds above 75, sustained winds, constantly blowing for 1 minute or 2 minutes, only extend out about 30 miles from the center. And so that's somewhat good news in terms of the destructive winds. When we say 175 mile an hour winds, those maximum winds in that northeast quadrant extend out 30 miles from the center. Okay, tropical storm force winds extend out 195 miles from the center. See, and that's why everybody's going to be in danger of getting tropical storm force winds, possibly gust to hurricane force from Kingston, Portmore, and westward. Okay. Now, another thing to watch out for too is that because the system is coming in at an angle and it's coming on the southern side, and you guys are going to be on that, even though Kingston places are going to avoid the brunt of it, it's going to throw off, it could possibly throw off a lot of like tornadic little mini whirls or whatever. And so because of that, because the angle is coming in at, and Kingston and places it's going to be on the eastern side, the northeastern quadrant side, kind of, it could throw off tornadoes and some of the outer bands, these feeder bands that come in off the shore as it makes landfall. So there's something to look out for too as well. That could take off roofs, or it could take off trees and roofs and things of that nature later on tonight in the forecast period. There's a possibility, the tornadic threat that could be coming in here as well. Now, once again, for those coming in, if you live in Mandeville and if you live north of there in the Blue Mountains and west toward Ocho Rios and Montego Bay, you could be looking at more of the brunt of the storm here in terms of in the Black River Basin. If you're in those areas, you could be looking more at the brunt of the storm, meaning that you can have longer lasting hurricane force winds above 100 miles an hour that could last for 3 to 4 hours, 3 to 6 hours as the storm pulls over your area, directly over Jamaica, that area, western Jamaica, and it tries to pull back over into the Caribbean Sea. It'll all be said and done. The storm will all be said and done here by late Tuesday afternoon. So by dinner time, 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Tuesday afternoon, just about sunset in the night, the storm will be pulling out of Jamaica, and whatever reemerges after it crosses the mountains and the mountains disrupt the flow a little bit, could be a Cat 3, could be a Cat 2, is heading into eastern Cuba. So that's what we have here with the system. Now structurally here, you can see on the western side, there isn't that much convection here. There is some sort of, I want to say, a little bit of intrusion here on the flow here. So it could be experiencing just a little bit, just a touch of wind shear. Okay. Not wind shear, but it could be experiencing a little bit of dry air on this western side. You can see the bands are not as connected on that western side here, that northwestern side here. So it could be experiencing a little bit of dry air filtering in, and that's a result of that front. The front is what's going to move this system over. The front is what's going to take this system, Melissa, out of Jamaica and out of Cuba and kick it out towards Turks and Caicos and out to sea, okay? But since the front is going to be just a little bit late connecting with Melissa, then that means that the storm is moving in this northwest direction here, and it's going to hook over northeastward. It's not entirely out of the question that the eye and the eye wall of this storm could barely graze the area of Negril. So if you're in Negril, I would be on high alert because you could be just barely grazed by that eastern eye wall there, and it could miss entirely the connection point at the Black River and landfall from Black River or Mandeville, and it could actually make just a brief. The eastern eye wall, half of it, could make a landfall on Negril and Montego Bay before pulling northeastward to Cuba. Okay, because right now it looks like the front connection that's supposed to kick this out of here could be just a little bit late, even though Melissa's feeling a little bit of the effects of it. You can see some raggedness out here on the western frontier, western side of the feeder bands here. So the frontal boundary is coming, and that's what's going to kick it out here to the north and northeast eventually. But it may be a little bit late missing the connection, and Melissa may continue moving northwest in this motion here throughout the night past 11 p.m. or midnight. If that occurs, then that means that it's going to make a partial, I want to say a partial landfall on the western tip of Jamaica. So folks in Negril, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, you're going to be in that eastern quadrant, that northeastern quadrant, with half the eastern eye wall coming on the shore, and then it'll be kicked out toward the sea. That's one possibility that I know people haven't been talking about that, but it is one possibility that it could miss entirely Jamaica and just have the eastern eye wall affect Negril and Ocho Rios, and before heading out to sea. So we'll have to wait and see. It's still too early to tell, but I'm just giving you one possibility here, even though all the consensus models have it coming into western Jamaica. If it does not make that turn, that northerly turn, in time after midnight, then that means that it's possible that it could miss, and just that eastern eye wall could be affecting Negril and Ocho Rios. That's something to think about. The other possibility is that it does make that turn after midnight to the north. It'll still be affecting the western parishes here, and from the Black River westward, and that means that you'll definitely get someone in that corridor is definitely going to get the 150, 170 miles an hour winds sustained with higher gusts for a period of about let's say with slow mover anywhere from 4 to 8 hours, okay, and then after that it'll ease up, the backside will come in and just be rain. But regardless, all of Jamaica's looking at about 10 to 15 inches of rain, 30 inches, 40 inches locally in that place to the right of the center where all the storm surge and everything comes in, somewhere west of the Black River in Mandeville. So that's the latest on Melissa. I can also show you the path here and the warnings. Of course, we have the warnings up in red for eastern Cuba, Guantanamo Bay, all of Jamaica, from Port St. Anne, St. Catharines, Kingston, all the way back toward Negril. We also have the Turks and Caicos, Long Island, also the southeastern Bahamas Islands from Exumas Cays. All these islands up here are also under hurricane warning. So whatever emerges from Melissa after it's said and done on Wednesday will be affecting those islands. Haiti, we don't want to forget you. You're still under those tropical storm warnings in Haiti. And a lot of flood in the Tiburon Peninsula, Cape Haitian, Port-au-Prince. You're going to be dealing with some street flooding still in play here, guys. So we want to keep our prayers up for all of this area here. And then on Thursday or Friday, we turn our attention over toward Bermuda, which could possibly be dealing with a Cat 1. When it merges with the front, it'll be more like an extratropical storm. But Bermuda, you could be dealing with a Category 1 hurricane, minimal hurricane here, what's left of Melissa, that's going to merge with this front and become kind of extratropical, cold core low, but it still bring strong winds, could be gale force winds gusting the hurricane force, along with a lot of rain there, before finally it's going to zip out of here Friday, Saturday, up toward the Canadian Maritimes and provinces out there. So we just have to wait and see on that. But this has been the latest advisory. Once again, we have a Category 5. Could make landfall as a Category 5, or it could skirt just to the western tip of Jamaica, bringing the eastern eye wall over places like Negril and Ocho Rios. So we'll have more information about that tomorrow morning as the system approaches. And I want to say right now, once again, it's only about 115 miles southwest of Jamaica, so it's going to take all night to get those miles, because it's only moving at 3 miles an hour, almost kind of basically stationary, because it's getting ready to make that turn. And so if it doesn't make that turn, once again, it's going to skirt, the eye is going to skirt just the western tip there of Jamaica. And that'll be great news, even though it's going to be, damaging regardless. It'll be great news for Kingston, Portmore, St. Anne, St. Catharines Parish, as they'll, be east of this big eye wall here. And they will get, hurricane force gusts and tropical storm gusts, but it'll be more of a rain event for them, as these feeder bands will be throwing up rain for the next day or two until you'll all be said and done Tuesday night, okay? Around 9 or 10 p.m. it should be all be calming down for Jamaica and the like. This has been the update. Please leave your comments and questions down below. Thank you for listening. This is the Weather Guru signing off. I'll see you on the next episode.